In 1944, an American bomb destroyed his factory. In 1945, an earthquake finished the job. He sold what was left for scrap to Toyota, a company his own would spend the next 70 years chasing. This was Soichiro Honda, a mechanic with no engineering degree, no money, and now no factory. Most of Japan's cities lay in rubble. Postwar Japan had almost nothing either, no fuel, no reliable trains, and barely any way for ordinary people to get to work each day. So Honda did something almost nobody else considered. He took his wife's bicycle, bolted on a tiny leftover military engine, and rode it through the streets of Hamamatsu. It was loud, it rattled, it barely worked. His neighbors didn't laugh, they wanted one too, and demand outran everything he could build. He ran out of engines almost immediately, and the banks weren't interested in a broke mechanic with no collateral. So in September 1948, with no working factory to his name, he registered a company anyway, Honda Motor Co. A year later, a partner named Takeo Fujisawa joined him, someone who understood money and sales exactly as well as Honda understood machines. Honda built the engines. Fujisawa built the business. It was an unlikely partnership. It worked anyway. In 1954, Honda made a bold public promise. His company would race in the Isle of Man TT, the most prestigious motorcycle race on Earth. Almost nobody outside Japan had heard of Honda at the time. 5 years later, his team finally qualified. They placed respectably. They didn't win. 2 years after that, Honda swept the podium and took the World Championship. By 1958, his engineers had finished one more design, small, light, almost absurdly simple, built for people who'd never owned a vehicle in their life. They called it the Super Cub. Nobody in that workshop knew they had just built the machine that would define the company forever. Within a few years, it was rolling off assembly lines across the United States and Europe. A company that hadn't existed a decade earlier was suddenly selling machines on every continent. Today, that one motorcycle has sold more than 100 million units. Not Honda's best seller. Not Japan's, the best-selling motor vehicle of any kind by any company in human history. A man whose factory was bombed, shaken to the ground by an earthquake, and sold for scrap to his biggest rival, ended up building the single most produced vehicle the world has ever known. Soichiro Honda didn't just recover from the wreckage. He turned it into an empire that's still running today in nearly every country on Earth. Subscribe for more true stories of people who rebuilt everything from nothing. And if this one hit, like helps way more than you'd expect.